On May 24th, 2013, people across the globe awoke into a world that was largely the same as it was the day before. The sun was still shining, the birds still chirping, and Ebola was still the #1 disease that came to mind when you said the word pandemic. Yes, May 24th, 2013 was just another average day. A day that would remain vastly unimportant to most of the world's population for the next 10 or so months. Little did anybody know, however, that this specific day in history would birth one of the biggest cultural phenomena of the entire decade. A piece of media so influential that it would define the next several years of pop culture. That, of course, being Fast and Furious 6. And also some game called Flappy Bird came out that day. I don't know if any of you have heard of it before. Flappy Bird is an interesting phenomenon to me, not just because of how popular it remains to this day, despite being a novelty iPhone game, but also because it achieved such a cult status despite only being around for like a month? You see, Flappy Bird may have been released in May of 2013, but it wouldn't find any sort of success until January of 2014, when nearly overnight it became the #1 trending application on the App Store. You know, back when that actually meant something. I'm not joking about the overnight success either. I literally went to school one day and everyone was playing it. It was like Flappy Bird had this cultural chokehold over the entire population, and if you weren't around at the time, you may just have a hard time grasping how popular this stupid mobile game was for a couple of weeks. I think the reason that Flappy Bird has left such like a massive impact on our society is because unlike any other mobile game that, you know, trends for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and then just sort of fades into obscurity, Flappy Bird never died. Flappy Bird was killed. For those who weren't around and have no idea what I'm even talking about, here's what Flappy Bird is. You take control of Fabby, yes, that's his real name, as you tap the screen to flap his way through a series of pipes literally ripped straight from Super Mario, which ironically is like the most interesting thing you can say about this game. Other than that, what you see on screen right now is pretty much what you get. It was a much more primitive time for humanity, okay? Flappy Bird was all about the high score, and coupled with some extreme difficulty, it led to an experience that many have documented as addictive. It's not uncommon that someone's first experience with Flappy Bird was watching their friend play the game on their phone, saying, "Hey, can I try?" Only to be handed their friend's phone and then dying immediately on the first pipe. This is how it spread so quickly, guys, because it looks so easy, but it's so hard. Please don't take that out of context. Flappy Bird Mania was an overnight sensation and surprisingly remained at a high level of popularity for several weeks. Flappy Bird was so popular, in fact, that it actually spawned a series of knockoff bootlegs that took the Flappy Bird formula but applied specific themes to it. For example, here's the Sesame Street version of Flappy Bird, Flappy Bert. It's Flappy Bird but with Bert in it. And come on, guys, really? The Mario pipes were the most interesting thing about this game, and you ruined it. We could have had an official Sesame Street product that plagiarized Mario, and you ruined it. Here's Flappy Sosa, the Chief Keef version of the game. I feel like this is wild enough to warrant a joke, but like, honestly, what do you want me to fucking say here? My personal favorite was always Fallout Bird, the officially licensed Fall Out Boy version of Flappy Bird. Yeah, remember Fall Out Boy? So I was actually really into Fall Out Boy when this came out, and I played this shit all the time, man, okay? You know, I just thought this was really cool. They played a bunch of Fall Out Boy songs as background music. You played as the band members' flying heads. You dodged musical instruments instead of pipes. I don't know, I just ate that shit up, man. Most knockoffs were just simple palette swaps, though. You know, like, ooh, this one's got a purple bird. Crazy stuff, man. It also wasn't uncommon for Flappy Bird clones to literally just take the game as is and add in more Mario plagiarism for some reason. Like, I'm really surprised Nintendo didn't give a shit about this, considering this is the same time frame when they were demonetizing any YouTube video that featured gameplay from one of their games, but, you know, whole different rabbit hole right there. The reason that I bring all of this up is really just to highlight how popular Flappy Bird Mania was at its peak. It literally birthed an entire new subgenre of games, and while I can't prove it, it definitely feels to me like this is the turning point when mobile games just sort of stopped giving a shit. Like, when a game as simple as Flappy Bird becomes a cultural phenomenon, a game that, by the way, was developed in only 3 days, it's like, why put in all of that extra effort to make the next Angry Birds or the next Temple Run, you know? Of course, everything that I've explained to you so far is only a footnote in Flappy Bird's legacy, as perhaps its most defining moment occurred on February 8th, 2014, the day Flappy Bird died. At the tail end of what would have been Flappy Bird's popularity empire, creator Dong tweeted out perhaps one of the most infamous messages to ever be posted to Twitter.com. I'm sorry, Flappy Bird users. 22 hours from now, I will take Flappy Bird down. I can't take this anymore. And I'm sorry, why is this so ominous? So the thing you need to understand about the state of Flappy Bird at this time is that the cultural image had kind of shifted from it being like this innocent, fun little game to being kind of like an annoyance, like this thing people kind of wanted to get rid of. Like rivalries over this game were going off the handle, you know, addiction had set in for a lot of different users. And I specifically remember this rumor that was going around that this man had actually killed his brother over fucking Flappy Bird. There was just this growing disdain for Flappy Bird at the time, so when Dong tweeted out that he was going to be taking down the app forever, a lot of people really assumed it was because people were killing each other over this game, you know, or at least like copyright infringement. The actual reasoning behind this decision isn't too far off, as Dong publicly has stated that he took Flappy Bird down over its addictive nature, something he had never intended, and it was weighing down on his conscience. The murder and legal rumors were just that, rumors, but the murder of Flappy Bird was very real. In the aftermath of the fallout, phones with Flappy Bird still installed would sell on eBay for upwards of $1,500, a hefty price to pay for a game that was free only mere days earlier. Killing Flappy Bird at its prime solidified its legacy in meme culture, and it's never really gone away since. Don't delete Flappy Bird off your phone memes still occasionally pop up to this day, and if you ask anyone if they remember Flappy Bird, you'll likely find that the conversation leads to its ominous and sudden deletion more than it ever does the actual gameplay of Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird was and still is a cultural phenomenon, this sort of shitty freeware mobile game that captured the world's heart and then was swiftly taken from us all too soon. It's a classic example of quit while you're ahead, because I think if Flappy Bird had just died like this natural death, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it today. Dong would go on to release a myriad of other simple games that kind of tried to recapture the magic of Flappy Bird, but none of them really catched on, and I think he's okay with that. Flappy Bird may be gone, but he'll always be remembered right here, guys. He'll always be right here with us.